What's up, guys? We got another game with the black pieces against Ahmed El Gamal 1134 provisional. We play the Alekhine's defense. He attacks our knight. We have to move it, of course. And now he takes control of the center and defends everything. We play d6, challenging his center, and he brings out his bishop, attacking our knight. We move our knight. Is he going to sack? If I move my knight, is he going to sack and I take... I don't think there's a sack. So anyway, his bishop's hit, so he has to move it. I mean, he could defend it, but I'll gladly take that for my garbage knight. On b6. Yeah, so he moves it. That makes a lot of sense. The drawback of everything he just did is that now I can take and trade queens. Oh no, I can't, because here... Oh no. There's the idea where he takes a check and lures your king away from your queen, but that's... It's not going to be his turn. It's going to be takes, my turn, not his turn. If it was his turn, he'd have that tactic. Okay, so he threatens checkmate in 1. What the heck? Okay. One of the drawbacks of not having your knight here and having it on b6. Fine. Well, we can't allow checkmate. He's also putting pressure here, so we can't move our bishop. We can go here, though, and just blunt the bishop. I imagine this is fine. He now takes back his pawn. And this avoids the queen trade. So, that's fine. Queen's still in an awkward kind of spot as far as I'm concerned. I'm just going to develop my knight, which comes with really good squares and blocks this diagonal. So now I like my position. I have more pieces, minor pieces developed than him. Now it's equal. He brings out a knight, but now I can win the bishop pair or win a pawn. I just have to make sure there's no checks that matter. I don't think so. So we're going to take a free pawn. It does give him some maybe weird developing, but not right now because hits the queen. Also, we have stuff like this in response to a bishop f4 in the future. So he moves his queen, hits the knight. We can defend our knight, that would make sense. He can hit our bishop, but that's okay. Well, he moves his queen, gives us a check, hits the knight still once. Drawback of this move is he's moving his queen again and again. Without, at least when I did it in my other videos, I was winning pawns and stuff. He's not winning anything, and I can easily just kick it with tempo, so this doesn't make any sense. But instead of using the pawn this time, I'm going to tempo it with the bishop. That way I can easily develop it. Because I have a pawn on e6, so it wants to come out this way anyway, and because I have a knight on b6, it's not like I'm fianchettoing it, so it's just to get it out faster. So it goes back to where it came from. So I had one free developing move with my bishop. Now I have another free developing move with my bishop, hitting the g2 pawn. So my position's crush winning even. He goes f3, blunting my pieces on the diagonal. The drawback is it weakens this. It's also a waste of time. I could castle. I could bring my queen in. Maybe we should just keep it simple. We start with castling. Now we're ready to do any craziness we want because our king is safe. He develops a piece, pressures the knight a second time, so that's fine. I guess I'm up a pawn. I think my position's better. I can take this pawn with check, which means he has to respond. Let's say knight takes. Then I pick up his bishop. I was gonna go, let's say here, knight c4. If he takes me, I get his bishop, and it would be a knight for bishop trade. And if he took my bishop, I'd recapture backwards. But this is wins a pawn, so it seems stronger. Okay. And now he can't castle long in case he wanted to because my queen intercepts. He could go rook d1 though. So now he goes here, which h4, what does it threaten? Nothing. What's the drawback? Weakens the dark square diagonal. It's a terrible move. I'm just going to throw this in because it can't be bad. He has to move his king, so now no castling period. He moves it over. His king's kind of boxed in. And there's this diagonal. So if I can get this here, like if I can get rid of this knight, that would be pretty cool. His king's also in a weird spot, so I want to get my queen in the game and away from this stuff maybe. Let's do that. Let's just get our queen in and we pin the knight even. And we could put a rook here. And then we can get our knight on b6 in the game. So ideas. Okay. So he moves his knight into the center. What does this threaten? My queen and my bishop. Drawback offers me a free peace trade, and I'm up 2 pawns. I will take it, remove his threats. He brings his queen in the center. I do have stuff like this, but I don't need to waste time to win pawns. I want to bring more stuff in the game. I have full domination of the light squares, so I feel like just bringing a rook in would be nice. Yeah, he can't even contest because his rooks aren't connected. And I'm able to infiltrate because his knight doesn't actually defend because it's pinned. He goes here, which protects the pawn, but if I didn't take it last turn, he probably should have. Maybe he thought I missed it, but no. This is a waste of time. His king is in severe danger as I bring more pieces in, and he's just kind of ignoring me. So I am going to bring my rook in here. Notice that my b pawn is also hanging, but I don't care. I'm just going to double and let him take stuff. He defends the pawn. I do have coordination on this square. He also is threatening this check. Just to blunt any of his ideas, I'm just going to go here. He's then going to play h5. If I give this check, it forces his king here. Do I have anything cool there? That's what I want to know. Maybe I could just go here. Oh no, because my rook would be hanging. And if I take this, do I have any cool stuff? No cool stuff. I'm going to let him take this. I'm just going to develop. I don't really care. I'm going to show him how alpha I am by letting him take this and give me this check. And say, you do you, guy, but no thanks. And this protects this. And now his queen is completely off sides. He has to move it back. And I got to double while he took a pawn and got his queen here. Congratulations. If he had a dark square bishop, it might be different, but he doesn't. So he evacuates because he has to. And now, what do I do? Well, his bishop's hanging. That's something. So I'll take it. Free piece. He gives me a check. I could block with my bishop. I could block with my rook. I don't really want to bring. You know what? I'm gonna go back with my king and really infuriate him, because now his only check is here, c6. Okay, so he takes a pawn. I don't care about this. Now I definitely want to get this knight in the game. And he still has no checks. He still can't move the knight. His queen is under attack. He can go get more pawns if he wants. My whole queen side. Okay, so now I have this check. He has to go here. Then I have this check. He has to go here. Then I have this check. He has to go here. And then I have checkmate. Hey, look. It's like a spiral. So yeah. That's checkmate. Do I have a cooler checkmate? Here. Here. Let's not mess around. Let's not mess around. I just lost last video. If I get long clock, I'll blunder the entire thing away. Oh wait, this is checkmate. See, I found an even faster checkmate. So we finally get a checkmate. We get another game. We're gonna play e4. We haven't played e4 yet in the speed run. And then we're gonna bring our bishop out. This is the bishop's opening. Then we play d3 and solidify our center. Now we have our bishop outside the pawn chain. Our good bishop's our dark bishop. And that's it. He solidifies his. He brings out a minor piece. It all makes sense, right? We're going to develop a knight towards the center, developing a minor piece. I didn't develop this knight yet because I want to play f4, right? And I don't want my knight in front of it. So he brings out this guy. Boom, f4. I want to attack this guy's king side. I want to start with my f pawn. He develops his bishop with a tempo on my queen. That's the threat. Drawback. Well, he might be forced to trade in, pretty soon for my knight. And that's a bishop for me, so I don't mind because this is his good bishop, right? His pawns are on dark in the center, so I would happily take his good bishop. He goes g6, preparing maybe to fianchetto. The drawback, I don't know. His position's a little passive. I get to do what I want. He's not really stopping me. I'm going to go h3. It controls this square from his pieces. It also forces his bishop. Like, you can't move back because it's trapped. So you either go super passive or you give me your bishop. The choice is yours. If he takes my knight, I will develop my queen. Okay, there is this option. That's true. If I take and he takes, it does give him, a decent chunk of pawns in the center. But his light squares are kind of weak. But there's ideas. So what do we have here? Do we even have anything? f5. Bishop takes. Pawn takes. Bishop over. I think I might just castle and ignore him. Because this knight is undefended. If I take, maybe I'll have some stuff. Well, now, no, it's not undefended. It's defended by the queen. But it's weak because of the dark squares. So I could put pressure on it with my bishop and my rook. But anyway, he pushes the pawn in the center. What does this threaten? My center. It also opens up his bishop, but I thought he was going to go this way. Okay, so he's attacking my bishop. So let's look at forcing moves. I get a pawn and attack his bishop. He gets the pawn back. I trade, he trades. I trade, he trades. I trade. He trades. I trade. He trades. It's a lot of trades. There's so many other options though. What if I take the e-pawn first, right? That hits his knight. He can't take back. Well, let's say he takes back. I get a pawn, he gets a pawn. I get a piece. He gets a piece. Right? I get a pawn, he gets a queen. Like, If I move my bishop and he takes, then it still opens things up in a weird way. What if I take once? He takes with his knight. I'm going to take once. If he takes with his bishop, I'll take with the knight and get the bishop for the knight. If he takes with the knight, I opened up the e4 square for my knight. So that would have been nice. So he takes with the bishop instead. Okay. I could take with the knight. I'm going to do that. I'm going to get rid of his good bishop for my bad knight. Not my bad knight, but my queen knight, which is kind of my bad knight. Okay, so now I have the bishop pair. His king's in the center. The e-pawn is hanging. I feel like you can take this and open up your rook. You can also take this way and coordinate on the light squares with an open e-file, but I'm not sure. How do I want to do this? If I take this way, I'm going to take with the pawn. It opens up the bishop, it opens up the rook. And because he's going to be castling the open e-file, I'm not going to be able to use it before he castles. And if he's castled, I'd rather have the f-file open. So he develops with tempo. That's a check on my king. Don't I have d4, solidifying my center, and hitting the bishop with tempo? If he takes with the knight, I take with the knight. Takes. Probably. I could have just moved my king to h1. But if I have this move, I'd much rather, have this pawn structure on the dark squares. This connect 4 right here. It'd be a great base of attack. So, okay, so he does realize he can't take. He does just move his bishop back, which is fine. But now the dark diagonals are really messed up. So can I make a good-looking forcing move? That's the question. There's this. If his queen, let's just argument's sake, goes up 1, what have I really achieved? On the other hand, this immediately coordinates and threatens this nonsense, but undefends this. So let's make his bishop and knight completely useless by just shutting it down. Boom. Solidified. The end. He has no center. Look at my pawns in the center, right? So now I have a base of operations for my attack. So now maybe he's saying, I'm going to go queenside where I seem to be well defended. That's reasonable. That's reasonable. Okay. What do we do here, though? We could now go for our idea. If he castles, he hangs more pawns. Let's do this. We could try to prevent castling, but after f6, I suppose you take, and then you open the e-file. That could work too. I mean, I think both of them are good moves. I'm just going to go with this one. This does allow this because this pawn is pinned. This attacks the bishop and defends the pawn. So maybe this was actually bad. But if he takes this, maybe we can pin it. f6. Bishop takes. Queen takes. Anyway, he doesn't see it, so I don't have to calculate. He moves over. I could just take this and make him go back. That's pretty dumb. So what I see is this square is amazing for my knight. So I want to take this, make him go back, and then fork the king and the queen. I'm clicking all the wrong stuff. But his knight's defending it, right? So I'm going to take the knight. And then I'm going to attack the rook. Oops, I shouldn't pre-move that actually. And by doing this, he'll either have to give up the rook or lose the queen, or give up the exchange. So not the rook. The whole it's not a whole rook. So now I'm threatening this and this, and he has no checks other than this sack and this sack, which don't work. So I'm safe in doing this. And now he blunders the royal fork, and that is probably a GG. Do we hear a ding? Sweet Home Catacoi might give us a ding. I'm feeling a ding from him. No? No ding? Man, I'm the worst at predicting the dings. I took a queen and then I took a piece. Tempo moves, nothing to really explain, right? This should be your most natural. And then bring the queen in, defend the rook if he attacks it. Bring the bishop out. Boom, he attacks the rook. We just bring him closer to our territory. I don't know. Maybe we can try to mate the guy or something. We'll just throw him a check and hang our queen because we're up 12 points. If he wins our queen, we should technically still be winning, right? So we'll give him some more checks, get our queen out of danger. He comes closer to us. Okay. He pins himself for some reason, so I'm going to make a troll move and go g4. I mean, you could also have moved your rook over, which makes more sense, but I prefer the troll move. He takes a pawn. I don't know what that does. I'm just going to take the knight. And that's checkmate. Okay, good game. We're climbing 6 at a time. It is taking a while, but that's okay. First e4 opening. I don't know, I just tried to checkmate the guy. It worked out pretty well. Checkmate in the center of the board. We keep climbing. Submit your games for review. Rapid only. Goodbye.